Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dilmer again, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm pretty excited today because I'm going to be talking about motivation for indie game developers. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I know a lot of you are starting out and you really don't feel as motivated to work on your projects, or you might have, been working on a game for a long time and you're kind of losing motivation. So the reason why I want to talk about this aspect of indie game development, and actually something that applies to any kind of niche right now, is because you have to find a way to stay motivated, and the way that I do that is basically breaking down into three different areas. So the first one is I try to make sure that I finish everything that I start. So if you follow me in social media, you know that I always talk about this. And the reason why I talk a lot about this is because it's very important to me that whatever I start, I finish. It doesn't matter how complicated it is. It doesn't matter how much it's gonna take. It doesn't matter what I'm creating, but I want to make sure that I finish it. And finishing is something that is very, very important. And a lot of people talk about, okay, yeah, you gotta finish your projects. And I talk a lot about, other people that, they tell me, Dilmer, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you finish projects. And the reason is because I set a deadline. The most important aspect of finishing something is agreeing with yourself that you're gonna finish something by a certain day. And I know that this might not sound, if you're used to doing things in agile, it might not be the way that agile works, but screw that. If you want to finish something, you gotta set a deadline. So if you want to finish something by, let's say, by December, which is when I'm planning on finishing one of my games, the reason why I set a deadline is because I know mentally that I have to do whatever it takes to finish that game. So if I have to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning, or I have to go to bed at 4 a.m., it doesn't matter. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do as much as it takes to finish that project. The other area, so I talked to you about, finishing something and setting a deadline. That's kind of like the first bracket. The second bracket is thinking about why is it that you're doing what you're doing. So I do something really, really strange, and that is that I keep a little photo of my family in front of me when I'm working on games. And the reason why I do that is because everything that I do for them. So I'm always thinking about my kids, I'm always thinking about my family, and I want them to have a better future. I want them to have a big impact on what I'm doing right now. I want my kids to remember what I'm doing. So that is my why. I'm doing games because I want my kids to remember, what I'm doing right now. In the future, when they grow up, they can say, okay, my dad did this, my dad did that. And not only the recognition though, I want him to know that, his dad used to work really hard for them. I want him to realize that everything in life, if you want to achieve it, you have to work hard for it. You have to do whatever it takes to get to that goal. The other thing that I always remember is, how I came from a country where we didn't have a lot of opportunities. I came from South America, and now living in the US and having so many opportunities. To me, if you don't chase those opportunities, you're never gonna get to that. So try to remember why is it that you're doing right now. If you're creating a game right now, think about why are you creating a game at the first place? Who is gonna be playing your game? Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? Is very, very important. So that's kind of like the second bracket. The last bracket is one of the things that I always try to think about and visualize. So when I'm working on a game right now, even though it's not in the App Store or it's not in the Android store or in Steam, I try to visualize how that game is gonna look in the store. Is really awesome when you visualize, having something that you're working on right now and it's not complete, but you know that you're gonna have it in the store in a few months from now. If you visualize that, it's like your brain starts adapting to, and it starts believing that you're gonna have it in the store. So that might sound a little strange for you, but visualization is very, very important. And a lot of people do it. A lot of successful people are doing that nowadays. So try to visualize yourself, if you're working on a game right now, visualize it having it done. Visualize yourself actually hitting that release button. And that's one of the most amazing feelings in the world. One thing that I do in social media, especially in Twitter, is before I actually hit the release button, I actually write a tweet and then I put a picture of the release screen. For example, if I'm releasing a game to iOS, I put a screenshot of actually clicking on the submit button that the game is actually going to the store. So those little things, you know, the visualization aspect of it, the why you're making a game, and you know, making sure that you set a deadline for your projects is very, very important. You know, I'm not talking from, you know, from the aspect of a person who is thinking about doing things. I'm actually doing these things right now. Whatever I start, I finish. So I want you to become that. I want you to finish your projects. The thing that I always remember is, you know, and this might sound really weird to you, but you know, if you're not here tomorrow and you didn't do what you really wanted to do, just imagine that. Just I always think about, I think it was Steve Jobs that said that he used to think about he was gonna die tomorrow, and that pushed himself to do what he was, you know, he did, and he did amazing things. He wasn't probably doing things in a healthy way, but that's a different topic. But I want you to keep in mind that whatever you're doing today is gonna be, you know, how you shape your own future. So make sure that you do that. Make sure that you're finishing your games. Make sure that you visualize yourself to do that. Make sure that you're thinking about your why, because it's very, very important. Thank you guys, and I appreciate your time. And don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you.